Good day, I'm Patricia Reseñada, your reporter for today. In this video, I will talk about culture and project management. First, let's define what is culture. Culture is a word of the way of life of a group of people, meaning the way they do things. Project management. Project management is the process of leading the work of a team to achieve goals and meet success criteria at specified time. 6.1 What is organizational culture? A former definition of organizational culture is that it is a system of shared norms, beliefs, values, and assumptions that bind people together. A simple explanation of organizational culture is that it reflects the personality of the organization. Organizational culture distinguishes it from other organizations, just like each person has a unique personality and each organization has a unique culture. Next, when working with internal and external customer on a project, it is essential to pay close attention to relationship, context, history, and corporate culture. Corporate culture set one organization apart from other and dictates how members of the organization will see you, interact with you, and sometimes judge you. Often, projects do have a specific culture, work norms, and social convention. Organizational culture plays an important role on a project management. People can identify which organization and feel free to be part of it because identity generates commitment on the organization. It is also a one reason for a member to devote energy and loyalty to the specific organization. Culture has a clarified authority. Relationship and project management. It provides reason why people are in the position of authority and why the authority should be respected. Culture helps to define what are acceptable behavior and what are inappropriate behavior. Just like imagine this. If the member did not share similar values, beliefs, and assumptions, so we all know the result is chaos. Organizational culture will help to maintain social order and business. 6.2 Project Manager's Checklist. Once the corporate culture has been identified, members should try to adapt to the frequency, formality, and type of communication customary in that culture. Next, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the adaptation that will strongly affect project members' productivity and satisfaction internally, as well as with the client organization. 1. Which stakeholders will make the decision in this organization on this issue? Will your project decision and documentation have to go through up several layers to get approval? If so, what are the criteria and values that may affect acceptance there? For example, as being on the schedule the most important consideration. 2. What type of communication among and between the stakeholders is prepared? Do they want lengthy document? Is short and sweet the typical standard? Those are the project manager's checklist that members should try to adapt to the frequency, formality, and type of communication. But just like what I've said earlier, every organization has a own personality or has a pattern to follow or a specific checklist that need to follow in every organization because organization is also the act of forming or establishing something. 3. What medium of communication is prepared? What kind of medium is usually chosen for this type of situation? Check the file to see what others have done as others in the organization. 4. What vocabulary and format are used? What color and design are used? Further for more, the project management checklist help project manager to remain productive even if you are kicking out of your project from scratch or running on an ongoing project. Checklist will assist you in getting efficient in project execution. If you already have a project management checklist at hand, you will save time, money, and will be able to reduce the problem that came up during the project. So, in short, a checklist from a project management provides a benchmark for your project execution direction. It's an approach that will show what to do in the project and to let you know if you have met the project quality. So, that's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Micaela Gatchalian, and this is the continuation of Chapter 6, 6.3 Project Team Challenges. First, let's define what is Project Team. Project Team is a team whose members usually belong to the different groups, functions, and are assigned to activities for the same project. Worldview is a looking glass through which people see the world. As Bob Shepard describes, it is a belief system about the nature of the universe, its perceived effect on human behavior, and one's place in the universe. Worldview is a fundamental core set of assumptions explaining cultural forces, the nature of humankind, the nature of good and evil, luck, fate, spirits, the power of significant others, the role of time, and the nature of our physical and natural resources. The reason why is there are challenges into the project is it because they came from different groups of the management. Each members who are came from different management has different worldviews. Since they will work in a single project, they need to learn how to adapt what is in their culture to have productivity and satisfaction in their team. In most situations, there is simply no substitute for having a well-placed person from the host culture to guide a new person through the cultural nuances of getting things done. In fact, if this intervention isn't present, it is likely to affect the person's motivation or desire to continue trying to break through the cultural barriers. Indeed, optimal effectiveness in such situations requires learning of cultures in developing countries or international microcultures and sharing perceptions among the culturally diverse task participants on how to get things done. Project leaders require sensitivity and awareness of multicultural preferences. The following broad areas should be considered. First, individual identity and role within the project versus family of origin and community. Second, verbal and emotional expressiveness. Third, relationship expectations. Fourth, style of communication. Fifth, language. Sixth, personal priorities, values, and beliefs. Seventh, time orientation. Diverse and globally distributed project teams, often working on complex projects spanning multiple time zones, geography, and history, and operating with tight deadlines in cost-conscious organizations, need to make time and resources available to physically meet each other and connect at a formal kick-off meeting. What is a kick-off meeting? Kick-off meeting is the first meeting with the project team and the client of the project. This meeting will follow definition of the base elements for the project and other project planning objectives. The reason why we need to have a kick-off meeting is because it is easier to talk about what the plan is. It is easier to share professional knowledge and personal stories and observe critical verbal and non-verbal cues that may not be easily observed on online or on the telephone. This is the key to establishing a safer climate and building trust for stronger relationships among both team members and management. Let's move on to 6.4 Dealing with Conflict. The question isn't whether, when, or with what frequency conflict will occur among intercultural team members or what will create the conflict. If a team wants to overcome conflict for effectiveness and productivity, the question is how to navigate and resolve the conflicts. Conflicts are inevitable even in the most engaged of workplaces. Regardless of the source of the conflict, if they are left unresolved, conflicts can quickly impact employee morale and productivity. One example of this is conflict with a colleague. The office can be a stressful competitive place that doesn't always bring out everyone's best side. Cultural awareness is needed for understanding and appreciating others' values and behavioral norms. Self-awareness and skill development can aid in resolving the problematic conflict arising from cultural differences to help a team maintain good relations and remain productive. We really need to engage the worldviews of our colleagues for us to maintain good relations and remain productive.